Welcome back everybody, it's James from the FIFA Projects, and you know what time it is. It's Arsenal Career Mode time. It's episode 25 of the Arsenal Career Mode, and today is a Saturday morning. I'm excited to get the games rolling, and I think in this episode I'm kind of going to go a little bit more into the commentary, a little bit more into the actual games and the gameplay itself. I know over at least the last sort of 5 episodes of both the Arsenal Career Mode and the first 2 episodes of the Career Mode, the World Cup Mode, I've been talking a lot more about commentary and different topics, which I really enjoy, and let me know in the comments if that's what you enjoy, which one you prefer. That's something I really want to know from you guys. Do you prefer the commentary of the actual game, the goals such as this one we've just scored, or do you prefer me to talk about different topics, or a mixture of both? So that's what I want to know for today. If you've not subscribed to the channel, I would consider doing so. And let's get into sort of looking at where we're playing. So Stoke are 6th in the Premier League. As of real life, they got relegated, if you don't know that. And obviously that's not a great thing. I've got something exciting to tell you later as well, guys, so make sure you stay along for that. And I'm really kind of excited for this game, but also a bit worried about it, because when you got a team like Stoke who are 6th in the league with a team that's not a great team, it's not a bad team, but it's not a great team, you often wonder, how they got up there, and usually it's not luck. You don't usually get that far by being lucky, but we cut inside there with Mahrez, smartly just pass it across, and the keeper does get a hand on that, and we traded Petr Cech in for Jack Butland. I think when we did that transfer, it was something that I just wanted to do because of Cech's age, not that he's not a good goalkeeper still, and then snapping up the rebound there to make it 3-0. One thing I've adapted really well to is playing against the computer on a specific difficulty, and I encourage you guys to do that as well. I play on the highest difficulty there is, and I noticed that when I was playing on professional a good few years ago now, but when I was playing on professional difficulty, that was I would win the game similar to how I win them now. Then I move up to world class, adapt to it, struggle at first, and then adapt to it and sort of start winning the same as I am now. Then I move up to legendary, the maximum difficulty, and then adapt to that as well. So that's why I've noticed half time 3-0 still. We're still coming forward, and that's a beautiful little goal there, and we've scored some good goals on this career mode so far. Martial again, he's always been one of the players that you look at his card on Ultimate Team, and he's got good pace, he's got good shooting, he's got good dribbling, he's got a good weak foot, he's got, I believe, 4-star skills, maybe 3, and he's got everything you want in a player, but I could never really get along with him. I just never thought he was a great player to play with, and I know a lot of friends and other players swore by how great he were, but for this career mode he's really been shining for us. Cutting in there with Martial again. I'm trying to kind of get the shot off, but I'm just playing it patiently and end up getting a poor shot off. Back through to Martial again and makes the finish. And I just think when I look at how many games we've played now, and obviously like I said earlier, today's a Saturday, and I've started playing the World Cup. When I look at this footage of me playing this game, how good I'm playing here is not showing in the World Cup mode. I'm playing extremely good football here. 4-0 on the highest difficulty possible, cruising, scoring good goals. Obviously there was the rebound that we scored, but other than that, scoring good goals. But I'm just not doing that on the World Cup mode, sorry. And it just feels like I'm not complaining. It's just a learning curve. I just need to keep learning and get better at it, because it's just different, and that's what I need to think about. Finished that game up anyway at a 5-0 victory, and you can see some of the other results from the other teams there. No one scoring close to as many goals as what we have been. And I've got something that I'm not saying I'm going to do, guys. I just want to put it out there and test the interest in this from you guys. But there's this thing called Premier League Fantasy Football. You may know about it, you may not know about it. And basically what it is you all go into a league together, you and your buddies or whoever, and there might be 4 of you, there might be 10 of you, it depends. And so what happens is you all go in, you all make a team, and then your team will score points depending on what happens in the Premier League. So for example, you might choose Harry Kane. If Harry Kane scores a goal or gets an assist or whatever, then you'll get points for that. It's only a consideration, but I was considering maybe this year, maybe I'll leave it till next year, of actually setting one up for us to do, for maybe 10 of us to do something like that, and all go in and compete against each other and just have some fun with it. So it's just something to keep an eye out for and bear in mind, and let me know if that's something you're interested in. If it's not, that's okay also. I've not really decided on that. So again, looking at the goals that we're scoring, to me that's a really good goal. I mean, the passing was great, the decisiveness, the clinical finishing, the non-greediness from me to get it to the next player that I thought would be able to score, and then that great cross header, 2 goals, 2-0 already, away from home, 17 minutes in against a good Leicester team. It's just this is what's frustrating me about the World Cup mode, is I know that I can do what I've done there. I know I can do it again in the World Cup. I've just not been doing it. I've been defending poorly. I've been conceding loads of goals, and it's kind of frustrating me a little bit. But we'll get working on it and see how that goes. So I'm trying to think about all the players that I have in this team, and there isn't really anybody that I don't like. I think Ramsey and Wilshere have played a good part in the team, but I expected them to be a little better than they have been. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mahrez. I mean, look at that for a goal, 3-0. Not many people are scoring goals like that, especially on the difficulty we're on. Mahrez from outside the box there, great signing. I think in terms of signings, this must be one of the best career modes I've ever done. And in terms of success on career mode, I think this is the number 1 career mode I've ever done. So when the Chelsea career mode that I'm doing next comes around, I think I'm going to struggle to replicate what I've done here. But sometimes there was a really good quote that I once heard that said, sometimes different is better than better, meaning that it doesn't always have to be the best. If it's different, it can sometimes be better. And so I think that's kind of the approach I take with this whole channel, is I try to do it differently to everybody else, because I'm not trying to be better than anybody else, but I want to be different to everybody else. So if I'm slightly different to everybody else, I think that just makes the channel unique and different, and so I like that. I don't want to be just the same as everybody else. And I think when you're playing offline games like I am here, at least for me, when I've got 3-0 in the bag, I know the game's over. In my head, the game's over. There's no way that anybody's coming back from that against me at 3-0 for the computer. Now, when you play online, as I'm starting to realise as I've got back into the World Cup, if you're 3-0 up, that basically means nothing. At least that's the way that I see it for me. That when I'm 3-0 up, it doesn't mean that I'm going to win the game. And oftentimes I don't win the game when I'm 3-0 up. I think one thing I'm going to have to do is a lot of testing in the World Cup mode. I'm going to have to start, testing different formations and seeing if different things work differently. But that was quite a nice goal from them. They passed it through. They wasn't really having many attacks, but just turned the defender and just blasted it in at the front post, which I quite like. That's that type of goal. I thought Jamie Vardy did well, and they're coming forward again as I'm speaking about. There's no way back after 3-0. They could have been if they would have got that. I would have made myself look like an idiot then. But we're coming forward, getting the job done. Great little turn by Martial, again the main man for this episode, and just turning straight in. And there's no way that they're gonna. I think the biggest thing for me is agility. It's the biggest stat. I don't care as much about shooting. I can score with players that can't shoot that well. I can score with players that aren't necessarily that quick. But when you're a player that can just turn the defender within a heartbeat, that's what I do best. You can see the stats. They only actually had one shot that was on target. That was the goal they got, and pretty dominant performance there. And I think that's pretty much going to conclude this episode, guys. Make sure you stay tuned for Monday, because I'll have episode 3 of the Path to Perfection World Cup series coming out. I want to thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys on Monday.